Alright, so I just got back from seeing In a Violent Nature, and let me just say, this is the kind of horror movie I've been wanting for a long time. If you guys don't know, this is a horror movie from the killer's perspective, so you see everything from his perspective. Well, not necessarily everything, but most of the movie takes place from his side of the story. So I'm not so sure if you guys are like me and you've always wanted a movie where it's like, okay, you see how, the humans and like the regular people see the killer, but I want to know why he's doing things, how he's seeing things, how he's getting to certain places so fast. I was curious about that, and this movie gave me exactly that. And to be honest, some of this movie was a bit comedic, and it wasn't supposed to be comedic, or at least I don't think it was supposed to be comedic, but it just happened to be funny because it's like, okay, like this guy is slow as crap. How is he killing people? Now, I must give you a warning. This is a Shudder movie. Like, this movie was made by Shudder and it's supposed to be on Shudder. I did go to see it in the movie theaters because it isn't on Shudder yet. And originally I was going to wait, but I really wanted to watch this movie. And I will say, I really did enjoy this movie. I'm glad that I ended up going to the movie theaters to see it. I did see it on a really big screen, so that really helped out a lot too. And I will give you guys a fair warning, like a really big fair warning. This movie is not for the faint of heart because there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore, and just some gruesome scenes. You know how most horror movies like cut away from a shot because, someone ends up dying and then it goes on to the next person? No, since you're watching this from the killer's perspective, you're seeing everything. Like, you're seeing him put away the bodies, you're seeing him like just leave the bodies, what he does with everything. You're seeing every single thing from his perspective. Now, my only issue with that is there are some scenes where it's like, okay, like you could have just, cut away to something different because I don't care too much to just see him walking through the woods or walking into some other stuff. But I mean, I guess they had to meet their, minimum time to make a full feature movie. Now that I think about it, this movie was only like an hour and 34 minutes long. So it's on the shorter side of movies, but I guess for this kind of style, it fit perfectly. As far as the story goes for this, it's kind of whatever. I mean, like I said, it's a horror movie. It's a slasher. It's a guy who's walking around the woods murdering people. And so his motive is just to kill people because they ended up taking some pendant from him and he wants that pendant because it's a family thing. And without spoiling stuff, I guess. I mean, there's not really nothing to spoil because it doesn't really set up that much because, again, you're seeing it from his perspective. So I thought we were going to get more backstory from him. You don't get that. And now that lets you understand. And I think they did a really good job with this. And it's like how much the humans add to these kind of movies because, your killer's not talking. So they couldn't really show anything. They tried to do one thing at the beginning to set up like, hey, this is who the killer, like this is where this pendant comes from. This is why he wants it so bad. And it did in like some weird cheesy way, and that was your only setup to let you know why he's doing what he's doing. And that's it. That's all you get from his side. But then, as things start to build up, the humans start to talk about some things that you can hear from his side. And I guess this dude has like supersonic hearing, which is kind of funny. But he's able to hear everything, so you're starting to get some things from him. But you're only getting pieces of the story because you're with the villain the entire time. So you don't know what they were going through. And they do a really good job with that because there's this one scene where the killer is like in the woods and he's watching these guys at a campfire, and this girl wants to take a picture with a group of her friends, so they all gather around to take a picture. And the killer's like in the back, so she takes one picture with the flash and then she takes another picture like just herself, but he's back there, so it's like, can they see him? And then they cut away to something else and it's like, okay, they're not going to talk about it. But like later on in the movie, they're like, that's the guy who was in the picture, and it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. So like they talked about it, but we don't really hear what they talked about because, we're not on their side, we're with the killer. So I thought that was really cool, and they started to do that a lot throughout this movie, and other scenes start to do the same thing. So you don't know most of the story, you just know what he's seeing and what he's heard. So I thought that was really cool, and I want to see more movies like that. I will say though that there are some issues with this movie that I really didn't like. Like the dialogue felt really weak, as if these guys were just performing like the day of. They sound like very not robotic-y, but it's like they're literally reading off of a script, and it's like, okay. But I'm pretty sure a good chunk of this movie was done with ADR, and I'm not sure if you guys know what that is, but basically it's like people doing recording after the filming is done, and then they're just speaking the lines over it. And I think that's what they did for a big chunk of this movie, and anyone who makes films will be able to tell the difference between ADR and then, you know, them actually filming it on set. So I think that's one of my biggest issues with the movie, was just how it sounded and with the other cast, and then also like the dialogue just sounded like a kid wrote it, basically. And of course, they make some really dumb decisions, but you know, it's a horror movie, and I'm assuming it's like young adults or teens, I would say, so they're gonna make dumb decisions. So there's this one scene in the movie that I was laughing at. It's not supposed to be a funny scene, but I was laughing because I'm like, okay, that's how they do that. And it's whenever the killer is like trying to kill someone. You know the scenes where like a car's horn is going off and it's like, oh, someone put something here to keep the horn going. And it's like, who put that there? They show you how that happens, right? And so basically, you know, this is kind of a spoiler, I guess. I mean, not really. It's just talking about a kill. But basically, he puts this log inside the car and the horn is starting to go off. By the way, if you watch this in the theaters, it's super loud, okay? So he ends up putting the log inside the car and the horn's going off. And the killer's just walking around the house. He's like trying to get to the other side of the house to give the person enough time to walk outside and then try to cut it off. And when he does, the killer's on the other side of the house and he makes his way around and he starts up going to the guy and he kills him. And it's like, okay, that's how they do that. You know, he's not disappearing. He's not just vanishing, going different places. He's literally walking around, giving them enough time to do things so he can, you know, plan his kill. And it's like, this is kind of funny, but also makes perfect sense now. And he does that a lot. Like there's another scene at a lake where the killer, instead of like, you know, how do the killers end up in a lake and they're killing people? You know, he literally walks in the lake and is just walking all the way across the lake to try and get to this person and ends up drowning them. And it's like, that's actually kind of funny. So like I said, I really did like this movie. Now, I'm not sure if I would tell you to go and rush to see it in the theaters or not, but I would definitely give it a watch if you have nothing to see, or if you decide to wait for it to come on Shudder, yeah, you know, watch it there. Or if you really just want to watch something in the theaters, go watch it. It's a really good movie. It's not long at all, and I think you will enjoy it. Especially as a big horror fan that I am, you know, obviously I enjoyed it, so. Also, I realized that I never really made a video of me saying, you know, I made it to 1,000 subscribers, or, you know, thank you guys for getting me to 2,000, or thank you guys for getting me to 3,000. So I'm going to just, you know, plug that in here and say, you know, thank you guys for getting me to 2,000 subscribers. I couldn't have gotten here without you guys, and I really do appreciate every one of you who watch my videos. Most of you guys who engage in the videos, thank you so much. It's pushing me to make way more videos, and I'm gonna try to do even more now. Especially with it being summer, you know, I can actually watch more movies and then make more reviews, so I'm excited about that. And another thing, if you guys haven't noticed yet, I'm doing way more than just movie reviews. I'm doing some movie talks, I'm talking about games, animes, and like other kind of conventions and stuff, because recently I did a video about MomoCon. I did a highlight about that. If you guys are interested in stuff like that, you know, check it out. You know, it's a really nice highlight. You don't have to watch the full thing, just watch enough until the highlight is done, and then you can just click off. But you know, thank you guys for watching this video. Also, if you watched this movie, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Sunway Review, take me on a cinematic journey through the highs and the lows. You bring movies to